A Chicago dad hit go live. Minutes later, he was fighting for his life. The camera caught the sound. His friends watched in real time. Who followed him and why?
I wanna get into it with y'all because y'all ain't got no respect. What's up, bro? What's up? Hell no!
On an ordinary evening in Chicago's South Austin neighborhood, Kevin Tugg, Watson sat in his car and opened Facebook Live. He had just stepped out of a nearby liquor store where his cousin worked. He started talking into the phone like many people do, just a quick live stream to share what was on his mind. It was early evening. The sun was still up. Cars moved in and out of the parking lot. Then a vehicle pulled up. Someone approached. Within moments, everything changed. Gunfire, panic. A good man was down, and loved ones were watching it unfold right there on their screens. Police say the shooting happened around 6:14 p.m. in the 5000 block of West Madison Street. Kevin was 42 years old. He was inside or near his car during the live stream when another vehicle approached. A person got out, and in a sudden burst of violence, a gun was produced and fired. The Cook County medical examiner later confirmed Kevin died from his injuries. No arrest was announced that night. There was no public information about a clear motive. A normal evening ended in heartbreak for his family and friends. Witnesses who knew Kevin told local reporters what they saw and heard. One close friend said Kevin was talking to a man as he walked to his car. The man followed behind him. Then a gun was pulled. There was a struggle. The shot went off. Another friend described holding Kevin's hand, hoping for a response. A cousin said Kevin was choking for breath and trying to breathe. These short, painful details came from people who loved him, people who did not expect to become witnesses to a killing.
Kevin Watson's murder has already been viewed nearly 2 million times on Facebook as he was killed in the middle of his Facebook Live. In that video, you can see him getting out of his car before hearing a single gunshot fired, happening mere blocks away from this police station here in South Austin.
Get into it with y'all because y'all ain't got no respect. What's up, bro? What's up?
Kevin Watson's final moments captured on Facebook Live. As gunfire rang out in this parking lot Wednesday evening on Madison near LeClaire Avenue in Chicago's South Austin neighborhood.
He was choking for breath. He was trying to struggle to breathe.
All of it unfolding right after Watson left his cousin's job at this nearby liquor store to begin his Facebook Live in his car.
I wouldn't let him walk out the store. He was a good man for this community. No matter what he done, he helped people, you know? He helped me get this job in there.
Close friends turned heartbroken witnesses say as Watson was walking to his car.
He was talking to a guy, and he was going to his car, and then the guy followed behind him. So when the guy followed behind him, pulled a gun on him. So he was trying to wrestle with the gun, and the gun went off.
Police say the 40-year-old was shot in his chest.
I rubbed his palm, and I squeezed his hand. He wouldn't squeeze back.
Relatives tell us he leaves behind a 6-year-old son and say Watson was killed just weeks shy of his own birthday.
We're gonna have to figure out how to move on and be strong day to day and help each other get past this, because this didn't just hurt one person, this hurt a lot of us.
Police haven't given a motive behind the shooting. So far, no one has been arrested.
The video spread fast online. Millions saw clips and posts describing what happened. But behind the views and the headlines was a father, a man whose family says he loved to help people and bring energy to a room. Relatives said he had a young son and a birthday coming up soon. That is the part many viewers online never see. The birthdays missed, the quiet mornings, and the small things, like family jokes, that vanish after a life is taken. Reporters also noted a piece of evidence. A chain with his name, Tugg, was found on the ground and was being looked at as part of the police investigation. Small items can become big clues. A chain can show there was a struggle. It can show movement, contact, or a possible motive like robbery. But as of the latest reports, police had not announced an arrest or identified a suspect to the public. The community and his family are left waiting for answers. When a crime happens on a live stream, the harm goes further. It does not stop at the scene. Friends and family watch it again and again. Strangers share it. People argue online about what they think they saw. But for those who love Kevin, the video is not content. It is a real person's final minutes. It is trauma replayed on demand. This story is not only about one parking lot in South Austin. It is about how quickly violence can strike and how public pain can become. It is about the need for answers. Who approached Kevin and why? Was there a robbery? Was there any prior conflict? Police have kept details limited as they investigate, which is common, but the silence is heavy for those who knew him. We will walk through what verified sources confirm about Kevin's last moments. We will follow the timeline using local reporting, and we will keep the focus on the person at the center of this. Kevin Tugg Watson, a father, a friend, and a man his loved ones say always tried to help. If you find this story difficult to watch, you are not alone. But telling it matters, because remembering Kevin is more than headline matters. Welcome to True Crime Diaries, where we uncover shocking cases, unsolved mysteries, and the darkest corners of real-life crime. From headline-making events to hidden investigation details, we break it all down, so you can understand what really happened. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button. Where are you watching from? Drop your location and thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. These are real people, real tragedies, and real lessons we can't afford to ignore. Share this video with someone you care about. It might change a life or save one. Let's begin. The sound of city life was ordinary that Wednesday evening. Cars rolled past on West Madison Street. Voices drifted from a corner store, and a man sat quietly in his car with his phone in his hand. For Kevin Tugg Watson, it seemed like nothing unusual, just another night in his neighborhood on Chicago's West Side. But in seconds, normal turned into chaos. A stranger drew near, tension filled the air, and a gun was raised. The silence was broken by a single shot that tore through the calm. People nearby froze in shock, while the phone's live stream kept rolling, capturing moments no one should ever have to see. Witnesses rushed forward, desperate to help. They tried to comfort him, but the weight of what had happened was already clear. Sirens wailed in the distance, and the crowd began to gather, stunned at how quickly a life had been shattered. This was not a story playing out in secret. The world saw it unfold as it happened, and the pain spread beyond the street where it began. For Kevin's family, friends, and even strangers who stumbled on a live video, it was a chilling reminder that in an instant, a life full of laughter and love could be taken away forever. Kevin Watson was known for sharing his daily life online. That evening, he opened Facebook Live from the seat of his car, speaking casually to the screen. It was his way of staying connected with friends, letting them see a slice of his world in real time. The stream began normally, with no sign of danger. Outside, the evening light stretched across the pavement, and passing cars filled the background. Nothing about the moment suggested that anything was wrong. Then, as Kevin continued filming, a shadow appeared near the edge of the frame. Someone was moving closer, step by step, until they were beside his car. The shift was quick but clear. What began as a simple broadcast was about to spiral into tragedy. In only a few breaths, the tone of the live video shifted. Kevin's relaxed mood gave way to confusion and alarm as the person who approached him made their presence known. For those who later rewatched the footage, it was the exact moment when a calm evening transformed into a nightmare. From the corner of the lot, a vehicle slowed and came to a stop. Its presence drew little attention at first, blending into the usual flow of traffic along the busy street. Yet, for reasons unknown, one man stepped out and began walking directly toward Kevin's car. His movements carried purpose, measured and steady. He did not rush, but every step closed the distance between him and his target. The sound of shoes against pavement cut through the evening air, a detail so small but unforgettable to those nearby. Kevin noticed a man trailing behind him. What seemed like a casual walk quickly felt like something else. Neighbors later described how the stranger followed with intent, not breaking stride, not turning away. In that short walk across the asphalt, the atmosphere shifted from ordinary to dangerous. A sense of threat lingered over the parking lot, and though no words had been exchanged yet, the outcome was already sliding toward disaster. The man's calm steps turned into sudden action. A weapon was revealed, its metallic glare unmistakable under the fading light. In an instant, Kevin's live stream shifted from casual conversation to a fight for survival. Kevin reacted with instinct, reaching out in a desperate attempt to push the danger away. The two men wrestled for control, their movements quick and chaotic inside the narrow space near the car. Viewers could hear the commotion, but could not fully grasp the intensity of the moment. Witnesses nearby froze as the struggle played out. Some shouted, others stayed silent, but all watched in shock as the fight escalated in front of them. The seconds dragged, heavy and uncertain, as the gun wavered between the men. Then, the sound that no one could mistake rang out. A single shot cut through the evening, echoing across the lot. Silence followed for a heartbeat, and then panic spread as people rushed forward to see what had just happened. The gunshot left Kevin slumped, his body weakened by the sudden impact. His phone, still streaming, captured the confusion that followed as voices filled the air. What was seconds ago a normal street corner now looked like the scene of a disaster. Bystanders rushed toward the car, some calling out his name, others searching for help. Hands reached through the open door, trying to comfort him as his breathing grew shallow. A cousin who stood nearby described him gasping for air, struggling to hold on. The sound of sirens began to rise in the distance, but every moment felt longer than the last. Some tried to keep pressure on the wound. Others stood frozen in disbelief, unable to process what had just unfolded in front of them. When emergency crews arrived, hope was fading. Kevin was rushed away, but the damage was too severe. Before the night was over, the city had lost another son, and his family's world was changed forever. Detectives quickly sealed off the parking lot, marking the ground with yellow tape and evidence tags. Every detail mattered: tire tracks, footprints, and objects left behind. Officers moved carefully, photographing the scene while neighbors watched from a distance. Among the items collected was a chain that spelled out Kevin's nickname, Tugg. It had fallen during the struggle and now became a central piece in the case. Investigators treated it as a potential clue, raising questions about whether robbery played a role in the attack. Despite the clear chaos that unfolded, no suspect was named in the hours that followed. The shooter had disappeared into the city's streets, leaving behind fear and unanswered questions. Authorities urged anyone with information to come forward. The official reports confirmed the time and location of the shooting, but kept other details hidden. Police offered no explanation for a motive, and the silence deepened the frustration of those demanding justice for Kevin. Kevin Tugg. Watson was more than a name in the news. He was a 42-year-old father who loved his family deeply. Relatives described him as a man who brought laughter wherever he went, often called the fun uncle because of his energy and warmth. Friends said Kevin had a generous spirit. He looked out for others, helping people find work and encouraging them when life grew difficult. He was the kind of person who wanted to see everyone around him succeed, not just himself. At home, he was a father to a young son who now faces life without him. His family spoke of birthdays he will never celebrate and moments that can never be replaced. Those closest to him say the hardest part is not the public story, but the private emptiness his absence has left behind. For his loved ones, Kevin will always be remembered not for how he died, but for how he lived, with joy, kindness, and a heart open to those who needed him. What made Kevin's death even harder was the way it unfolded in front of an audience. The live stream did not end when the shot was fired. It kept running, spreading his final moments across phones and computer screens. Loved ones who tuned and were forced to watch something no family should ever have to see. For those closest to him, the internet became a place of torment. Clips were shared, comments poured in, and strangers debated what happened, often forgetting that a real family was grieving. The video was not entertainment. It was trauma broadcast for the world to replay. Community members spoke about the cruelty of seeing violence displayed so openly. Some admitted they could not erase the images from their minds, while others worried about what it meant for young viewers who stumbled upon the footage. The spread of the recording added another layer of pain. Instead of being able to mourn quietly, Kevin's family had to face constant reminders of his final struggle. Their grief became public property, magnifying their loss in ways words could barely capture. Police asked for help from the public, stressing that even the smallest detail could guide them closer to answers. They urged witnesses, neighbors, and anyone who had seen something unusual that evening to come forward. In a case with no named suspect, tips could make the difference. Crime Stoppers and local hotlines were listed as safe places where people could share information without revealing their identity. Authorities reminded the community that silence only protected the person responsible, while speaking up could bring justice to Kevin's family. Community leaders echoed the call. They encouraged residents to break the cycle of fear and help detectives build the truth of what happened that night. The more voices that joined together, the harder it would be for the shooter to hide. For Kevin's loved ones, answers will not erase their pain, but they can bring some measure of peace. Every call matters. Every witness matters. And until someone is held accountable, the search for justice will remain open. Kevin Tugg. Watson's life was filled with laughter, energy, and care for the people around him. His friends remember his jokes, his family remembers his love, and his son will always carry the lessons he left behind. These memories are what keep him alive in their hearts. His passing left an empty space in homes, gatherings, and celebrations where he once stood. The silence where his voice used to be is heavy, but those who knew him refused to let that silence define his story. They choose to speak of his kindness instead of the violence that ended his life. Across Chicago, candles were lit, prayers were said, and voices came together to honor him. Small acts of remembrance showed that his presence had touched many more than he ever realized. Kevin's name now carries both sorrow and strength. Though his time was cut short, his legacy lives on through family, community, and the memories that will never fade. That's a wrap on today's case. But the story doesn't stop here. There are countless voices still unheard, stories still in the shadows, and truths still waiting to be uncovered. Here at True Crime Diaries, we're dedicated to digging deep, exposing the facts, honoring the victims, and keeping their memories alive. If today's case opened your eyes, just know more powerful stories are coming. Stories that will make you pause, reflect, and ask tough questions. Hit subscribe, like this video, turn on notifications so you're always first to know when a new case drops. We post regularly, and what's coming next is something you won't want to miss. Now it's your turn. What stood out to you in today's case? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and your voice helps keep these stories alive. Until we meet again, stay informed, stay alert, stay safe. Because justice begins with truth, every voice matters. Every story deserves to be told.